How's everybody doing tonight? Are you guys glad it's almost over? Oh my gosh, you are the real MVPs around here because you've been sitting in chairs for 5 hours paying attention to other people talk. I am not skilled at that. I went to Wendy's, I got my nails done. I was not here for all of it. But to be honest, I'm still a little shook by that plant talk. I don't know, like they're talking to each other, they're smarter than us, like somebody, who do we alert right now? It's dangerous. I think we should all become vegans. I don't know. I'm a stand-up comedian, and I usually have to preface that, like I have to tell people, like, okay, so throughout this talk, I'm probably gonna tell you, hey, I'm a stand-up comedian. Just in case you don't laugh or you don't understand, like, why is she saying this thing? You know, it happens all the time when I'm with my friends. They'll, like, apologize on my behalf. Has anybody ever had that happen? Like, my husband sometimes at the McDonald's counter, he's like, oh, she's just a little, it's just that time of the month. And I'm like, hey! My friends do the same thing, right? They're like, oh, you gotta hear me, she's a comedian. And I'm like, are you just, like, trying to explain me? And then there's like my kids, of course, like, I had parent-teacher interviews, and my daughter, and I'm talking to the teacher, and she's like, anytime you want, I'm very flexible. And of course, as a comedian, I then said, well, that must make your, I won't say that here. Okay, well, and then I said, oh, well, then you must love to do yoga. And then my daughter, who's 7, said, my mom's a comedian. So, being a comedian is interesting because I tell people jokes and I try to make them laugh. And, how I do that is by having a setup. So, I'm going to tell you, like, the formula of a joke right now, okay? So, I tell a little bit of a story, and I make it engaging, and it's kind of interesting, and then there's this build-up, and then you buy in because it's interesting, and there's a build-up. And then there's a twist, like a change of events, and that's supposed to make you laugh. Your front brain, like I'm going to talk science now too. So your front brain has 2 sides. There's a left side and a right side. Look at the science over here, guys. And then the left side determines what is happening. They process the information that's coming out of my mouth, and they say, oh, this is a joke. And then the right side says, is this funny? Should I laugh? And if I'm doing my job right, you will laugh. And therefore, you have joy, and I feel good about myself because I feel validated. Like slides and such. So, hey, there's me. Okay, so another term for stand-up comedian is unemployed. And so, where's that dean? Yeah, you gotta hand out some of those degrees. I need one. So yeah, if anybody there's me. I get paid in chicken wings, and sometimes I get a very small e-transfer, and it pays for my gas. And so, but I have a story. I didn't always want to be a stand-up comedian. I was talking to my high school guidance counselor, and she's like, what do you want to do with your life? And I said, I want to be a doctor. And she's like, ha, you're a comedian. And I'm like, okay. So that's how it happened. Thank you so much. I'll be here all night. No, I won't. I'm very tired. So I gotta be honest, I'm a little nervous right now, okay? It was the plant lady. No, just kidding. I'm a little nervous because public speaking is hard, right? Other speakers are nervous? It's a little like, and this is about the time I would call my AA sponsor and tell her, like, I'm a little flighty, and I start talking mile a minute. I'm like Al Pacino with an automatic in the end of Scarface, and she's just like sitting there listening, like, and then when she finally gets like a space where she can talk, she'll say, just breathe. Can you do me a favor? Can you breathe? And then I'll breathe, and I'll be like, and I'll do it with her, and it's not in person, it's on the phone, thank goodness, because I'm Indian, I usually smell like onions. I do, it's true. Anyways, I'm just channeling my inner Brene Brown and being vulnerable right now. It's a TEDx talk. Okay, so then, if I'm really flighty, she'll say it a second time, and she'll say, okay, can you do me a favor? Can you breathe again? And I do it again. And then sometimes even a third time. And then we do a grounding exercise. So why don't you humor me right now? Because okay, maybe I need some moral support. My mouth is parched. Maybe I need some moral support. So let's all do it together. Why not, right? Okay? Let's breathe in, right? Yeah. You look flighty. Let's do it again. How nice is that? Do you guys feel that? Yeah? Like our, hang on, more science, right? Like the vagus nerve was all activated and it sent a signal to our parasympathetic nervous system to like relax. We did that together. We're like family now. If I'm honest, I thought the vagus nerve was that feeling you get when you think you're gonna black out when you're in Vegas. But that is not it. Have you heard this? Picture them in their underwear? Yeah. So I was about to do that, and then I looked at you all, and I'm like, you're not my type. And so I didn't do that, and it's 2024, and that's really creepy and weird, so we wouldn't do that. But apparently, this guy, Winston Churchill, I don't know much about this Churchill guy, but he used to give speeches or something like that. And when he did that, he used to picture everybody in their underwear. And it would basically put these other people in a vote. My mouth is so dry. What is happening? Where's my sponsor? Okay. Thank you, doctor. A doctor saved my life. I don't know if that guy's a doctor or not. And he looks like one. Or like he plays one on TV. So Winston Churchill, he's all looking at people and saying, well, underwear, yay. And if you think about it, I'm like, well, this is weird. This is a weird, why? And we all say it, right? Everybody knows it, from Gen Z to Gen Geriatrics, we've all said this, right? We have heard it. And we say this because I'm like, this doesn't make sense, because I'm a mother of 3 and I go to a lot of public pools, and when I see people walking around in their birthday suit, it does not make me comfortable. In fact, it does the very opposite. I don't know where to look. There's nowhere to look. No matter where you look, it's intense. But so why is this something that we say? And I think it's because, if you think about it, nakedness is the ultimate position of vulnerability. You know, you're as seen can be, exposed. It's vulnerable. It's intense, right? And I think that is kind of humiliating, or it brings you humility, and then it evokes humility in another, or it makes you feel better about yourself when you're looking at somebody else and you're like, hey, I don't have that problem. Right? So that's why we say this. I'm glad I didn't do that. I'm glad we did the breathing exercise. Thank goodness. That's me. That is me when I was in high school. So I'm going to tell a little bit of story. I would want to make that picture go away right now, but you guys can look at it. I'm going to talk a little bit about my childhood, and I am a survivor of childhood trauma. And I grew up in an Indian home. And when I grew up in a time where, I'm gonna date myself now, where girls didn't have as many opportunities. We weren't supposed to talk much. Okay, at least that was my experience. And I was loud, and I was funny, and I had this gift or talent of gabbing and can you guys tell? Yeah. And my parents, they didn't understand that. The whole, what do you want to be when you grow up? I wanted to be an actress. I wanted anything where I had a microphone. I was a creative. I made parody songs in high school. And, Ironic by Alanis Morissette. I wrote one about robots, and I called it Bionic. I'm like, isn't it bionic? Yeah, it was really good. And I would write plays, and that's what I was interested in. I also had ADHD, and I was undiagnosed, because nobody knew what that was then, probably. And everybody just thought, well, she just doesn't listen. My teachers would be like, why are you always late? Why are you never listening? Why are you always... And as an adult, I get diagnosed with ADHD, and I finally have an answer for them, but they're dead. And so I can't explain myself to them. Dr. David. And yeah, so I can't explain myself to them. And back then, they had like me do things like, oh, write lines on, like, I'm ADHD, and they're making me write lines like, and now it's like a cool thing to have ADHD. It's like you're like a superhero. They have like a special name for it, neurodivergent. Like, sounds like a superhero. I told my mom the other day, Mom, I'm neurodivergent. She's like, what is neurodivergent? Congratulations, beta, I'm very proud of you. So, my childhood was interesting. I would share with my parents that, I want to be an actor. No, you need to be a doctor. You need to be a lawyer. You need to be an engineer, or you need to work for the government. Like, it was always something. Like, they always used to look at certain careers as this is what's going to make you successful. And that was like the narrative that was in my head. And what I wanted to do was be in like the entertainment industry. And my mom would be like, no, that doesn't make any money. You're not going to do anything with that. And the other day she saw me in the newspaper for a comedy show. She said, that's my daughter. I'm so proud of her. I knew you would make it. So I'm very happy right now. However, this person was not happy. And I still had the gift of humor, but I used it in a manner that wasn't serving me. I didn't know it then, but it helped me get through life, if you will. And it was a way where I could deflect off of some of the feelings I was feeling inside. It was a way that I could hide my insecurities. It was a way that I could suppress my anger. It was a way that I got attention, the attention that I didn't get that I wanted or needed, or the way I needed to be nurtured. And so I did that most of my life. And I didn't really, I think people could see through that. I think people knew that, that I was sad and I wasn't really being my authentic self. And so as I, got older, I changed coping mechanisms, and I found myself in a situation where I was had to be in recovery from alcoholism. And it was a really tough time in my life, and I'm still in that process. But it was through that process that I was able to channel all that humor and what I knew about joking and laughter and all of those things, that I could use those traits in my journey of healing and recovery. So I began to use humor as a means of feeling. Slide. Let's take the slide. Okay. So I was BC's funniest female. Just there's one of my accolades. But sorry. I'm so incredibly nervous right now. Should we do another breathing exercise? Right? Okay. So when I was in recovery, that's when I realized that, hey, I have this gift of humor and I really want to use it. And I decided to just step out, and I entered a contest. This is how I became a comedian. I entered a contest, and it was with laugh lines, and I took a course, and they taught me how to tell jokes, and I used my natural abilities as well. And this was the first time I'd ever stepped out and done something like this, because I was always afraid. I was afraid that I was not good enough. That narrative in my head that I'm not good enough, or that because of my personal appearance, and I just felt like nobody looks like me on stage, that I can't do this. But I got to the place where I really wanted to just try something new. And I did, and I actually came in third place. And then shortly after that, I was getting invited to other events and so on, and just different comedy competitions, and I would go and I would perform, and I loved it. I loved it so much. However, I was still healing and still had some of those deficits where I didn't know what my self-worth was, and I didn't believe that I was good enough. And doing this kind of was another way of hiding that stuff. It was the likes and the applause that I craved. More recently, I had a shift, and I found that I could actually use humor to serve others, that I could foster connection with others by being relatable and sharing my story. So I began to take those things in my life that were an adversity, or that things that I was ashamed of, and I started being playful with it, especially when I started healing. And it was much easier to do that when you come from a place of better self-worth, and you're able to tell jokes. Because otherwise, before that, it was self-deprecation, and it wasn't healthy. And there's actually research now that shows, there was a study published, and this guy says some things, and yeah, so that happened. There is a study, I'm sure someone did it. Hey, where's the plant lady? You can do one. I'm a comedian, guys. You guys remember that? So there are studies that are showing now, but I think you guys all know, right? Like humor is good for us because of the parasympathetic nervous system. No, it has all sorts of physical benefits. Physical benefits like, tell us, doctor, what does it do? Releasing endorphins, releasing oxytocin that helps us to connect with others. And it causes us to laugh, helps us to burn calories, right? I'm trying to be sciencey. But really, I'm a comedian. I'm going to show you the benefits. I made a slide about it. Who did that one? Okay, see? I told you there's serotonin. It improves mood and increases the feeling of happiness. Dopamine, I like that stuff. Thank you. Look at all the stuff it does. They invited the comedian at the very end because I'm like the comic relief for the end of the night. So it did help me build resilience. I do face adversity and challenges now with a little bit more humor. I'm able to come out of circumstances that are very painful, sometimes very painful, by making a joke about it. It's something I've learned to do and something that has helped others, and I realized that I could give people the gift of joy and laughter and humor. I could also help people identify with me and feel more related to, and then they would also feel more comfortable with themselves. And so this is how you can use humor. So I just want to invite all of you guys to go home and look in the mirror and laugh at yourself. Thank you so much. I'm Monique Bellamy.